All right. Now I can be heard. Good evening, everybody. Woo! Good to go. Sound check. Connection successful. My internet is telling me good, because last thing we need is for my internet to crap out right now. So, hi everybody. I wasn't sure if I was going to stream tonight because I'm not sure if you can tell from the state of my mouth, but this section here is completely numb. So, like, if I try to whistle, nothing. So, for anyone who was not keeping track of me over on TikTok or on Twitter, I had a root canal today. Yay, root canal. This is my third root canal, unfortunately. About 3 years ago, I had a double root canal on my upper bicuspids on my left-hand side. This one was the bicuspid right before my molars on the lower right-hand side. But the pain of it was just crazy bad, and it came very suddenly, and I barely slept last night. It was just too painful. And that's even with me trying to, you guys saw the video, me trying to dull it down with some pain medication, and it just didn't work too well. So, thus, root canal today. Feeling fine, very tired, but I managed to get some food in me. I think I bit my lip like 2 or 3 times trying to eat, so fun times. I think I need to turn the music down a bit. There we go, that's better. Yeah, that's better. So root canal, but I'm feeling fine. I'm just really tired. So I did, because of all the craziness with my root canal happening so suddenly and just taking up my entire day, I needed to do that instead of updating my Twitter thread. So my Twitter thread is behind again. I feel bad. If you guys really want to go over the Elvish that was said in the previous episode, we can do that. We'll just have to look at a different site instead. We'll have to look directly at the wonderful, what's it called? Her. The wonderful, there we go, Discord group that I'm a part of. Log in. Yes, log in, please. Thank you. But I can basically bring that up, I think, and we will be able to at least take a look. Sorry, of course, the moment I look on Discord, people have posted more stuff, and I'm like, ooh, what do they say? All right, let's, I'm going to rearrange some things on my computer screen here, and then we will take a look at Discord. So we can cover some of the stuff that, that was happening in episode 6. Hopefully you all enjoyed episode 6. I know Dawn had a watch party. I was there for that. That was only my quasi-second time watching through, and then right before starting the stream tonight, I also hit a couple of bits that I wanted to rewatch. I didn't have enough time to rewatch the entire episode, but I got close. I have also been very, very careful to steer clear of Twitter and other social media because apparently some of the previews for episode 7 were a bit spoilery, and I was like, no spoilers. So, been very, very careful to not spoil myself for episode 7. Yeah, the resulting drunken light state for the video. Yeah, I knew. I was just like, I might delete this later. I just might delete this later. But I was so exhausted. I was so tired when I made that video. It was just me in bed, unable to sleep, and I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'll just spew my thoughts out on TikTok and then let it go. And that's exactly what I did. I stand by it, though. For anyone who didn't see my TikTok video, what I said was, I'm sort of hoping... Number one, I'm hoping that Halbrand is not Sauron. Or at the very least, if he is Sauron, that he is going to have a form shift. Because he looks like a mortal man. He's got stubble and shit. This would not fly for the elves. So, when Sauron is said to have taken the fairest form he could contrive, I'm assuming, this is just an assumption on my part, that he was doing so with elven beauty standards in mind, which means he should be hotter than Luthien Tinuviel. And I feel like that's a pretty high bar. So they need to make him spectacularly gorgeous. And part of me hopes that that means they cast an Asian guy, because we don't have enough Asians in Middle-earth either, and I would love to see an Asian with just those beautiful cheekbones that some Asian men have. Whether they be Southeast Asian, from India. Like, there are so many gorgeous men with just beautifully chiseled features that I feel would be more with the sort of elven aesthetic that we're used to, that we expect as fans. But, like, make him androgynous, make him gorgeous, make him so that, like, it's reasonable to assume that anyone who comes across this guy would be pulled in by him. You know, the word that Tolkien uses is seduction. He seduces. And I know that that's not just in a sexual manner, that Tolkien typically is not talking necessarily about sex when he says such things, but he means true, like, soul-deep seduction. There should be something about Sauron in his Anatar form that just pulls you in and doesn't let you go. And so I'm hoping that they will run with that. And at the very least, I just want a really piercing gaze and some nice cheekbones. But everything else is up for debate. Like, there was no other definitive description of Anatar. Now, fandom-wise, according to fandom, there are two options. One, he's very golden, and two, he's red-headed. And I enjoy both of those. I have a little plushie of Sauron as a sort of redhead, and I love that. But in my head, I always thought that his Anatar form specifically was much more golden. Tall, broad, chiseled. Wow, I really brought out the accent. Chiseled, you know, like... but very, very chiseled, very angular, is sort of the way that I thought of him in his Anatar form. But more golden, you know, deep golden hair... I think eyes that reflect like forge fire would be something rather poetic and on par with the vibe that he's going for when he's seducing the elves in Eregion. But that's just me, personal taste. I always thought that his Myron form, his original form, when he took a form sort of in the beginning, when he was still amongst the elves and the other Ainur, I thought that form would be slighter, more unassuming, where it wasn't necessarily about being intimidating, it was all about the work. And so I think that he would be, you know, still strong, burly even, perhaps, but that's what I envisioned his red-headed form to be, for whatever reason. I always pictured his Myron form as being a bit smaller, where just the point wasn't to be imposing, it was just practicality, so I kind of saw him as being wiry, but red-headed. Freckles. Lots of freckles. We need more freckled individuals in Middle-earth, too. I'm just like, yes! Red-headed, freckled person. Hello, Eli. Hi, Jackie. Do I have anyone in mind I would cast as a live-action Luthien? Oh, man. There was someone that I know Knew Better Do Better brought up in a video, and he was just like, I'm calling it, let's make her Luthien. And she was gorgeous. Oh my goodness. She was so beautiful, but I'm terrible with names. I do not remember. I do not remember her name. But she was gorgeous. Whoever that was, I was just like, oh yeah, like, beautiful, beautiful woman. But I also am very... Oh, hi, Alana. I'm very passionate about Luthien not being white, too. But that's personal preference. She's supposed to be the fairest of all elves. I don't know if we get a skin tone description with her specifically, but we do know that she has very, very dark hair. Hair like the night sky. Hi, is this... Okay. Okay. We're doing this. Hi, kitten. I think it would be a good statement, is what I'm saying, to make the most beautiful elf in all of elvendom not white. I think that would do the fandom some good. all this stuff about Eurocentric beauty standards. I'm like, yeah, like, fuck that. You need to go watch all Anubetta's videos, twist your arm. Basically, like, oh no, ow. I just have to go watch his videos, oh no. New is fantastic. But me and New gonna fight in a field at some point, because he is convinced that Halbrand is Sauron, and I'm really hoping not. Really hoping not. That's just me. Like, I understand where everyone's getting it from. I understand where they're like, oh my god, that plays into it so much. I get it. I don't interpret things the same way, though, and that's alright. So, we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe we'll get some of that tonight. I'm not sure. We'll have to figure that out. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can switch things over to the other screen, and we'll see if we can take a quick look at some of the elvish details from the last episode. Let's try it. Oh shoot, it's not showing again. Hold on. I'm gonna have to switch to that blank screen again, and we'll give it a go. I can fix it. I just have to go on to my nested scene first. There we go. Fixed it. Okay. So here it is. This is one of the several Discord groups I'm a part of. I hate Discord. It tends to really overwhelm me, so I tend to only be on it when I have something specific to do. In this case, I start these threads, and then the lovely people over on this particular server, which is called Vinje Lambengolmor. It's basically just an elvish enthusiast group. And these lovely people speak Quenya, and I do not. So for the vast majority of the series so far, they have been doing all of the Quenya translations for me. I do give it a general go, but especially this past week, I had zero energy. Like, typically I go through and I at least put timestamps for everyone to be like, here's where the elvish was, here's what I think I heard, but please correct me. And then they do so, but at least I point them in the right direction. This week, they got nothing out of me. I started the thread and I'm like, I'll have to watch it a second time later. But it was the 3-year anniversary of my partner's death, and then this happened. So I've been out of commission most of the week. But we did have a couple fun things in this episode. So we do have Adar at the very beginning when he is putting the seeds into the ground and sort of observing the elvish tradition of planting seeds before battle. He says, Vinja Koevie, Nanfirie, which is new life in defiance of death, or new life against death. I believe I called that one when it was said live in my reaction, because I actually did understand. I'm like, hey, a bit of Quenya, I understand. I was very proud of myself. He did say from Eredmithrin to the Efel Arnen, and that's from the Grey Mountains to the ring beside the water. It's basically the bywater. Hills by the water. Then when he goes into the village, or at least he goes into, this is when he goes into the tower area. Oh, no, wait, I'm thinking wrong. It's not when he's in the tower area. It's when he enters the cabin after all of the fighting has happened with the orcs and the Southlanders. He says, what I seek, give it to me. Sanna I kestan. Ase Antanin. And so it basically does say what the subtitle said. What I seek, give it to me. Avrondir then responds, Itakestan Antasanin, or Antasanina, which is, oh, sorry. Gosh, I'm getting everything mixed up. Can you tell I'm tired and I haven't slept in like over 24 hours? Whee! He says, Attesene uvuvan sa. Let them go, I will consider it. Basically, the literal translation is let them go, and I will consider that. This, of course, backfires on him. And so forth. After Galadriel rides in to save the day, here she comes to save the day. We do have a couple lines between her and Arondir. Arondir, though, it's hard to quite understand what he's saying, but this is their best guess, my friends, best guess. So, Roandil, thank you so much for all of the Quenya work you've been putting in for this series so far. So, basically what he was supposed to have said is, the item he possesses, he must not escape with it. And we think the general thing that he said was that he's not to escape with it. So just sort of indicating whatever he's got, don't let him get away with it. Which is, it then plays into the Galadriel doesn't know what they're looking for, and so she thinks that whatever is in the bundle has to obviously be what they were looking for. And so she doesn't think to ask for more details, to be like, okay, well, it was a sword, right? She doesn't know any better. And so that plays into the whole deception that we get out of Adar in episode 6. The other fun thing about this episode was, well, there are two things. Number one, we finally get to hear some Sindarin, and I lost my shit. I was so happy to hear some Sindarin at last. But of course, it's being spoken only to horses? Question mark? So I'm not sure if this is just that the horses are going to be spoken to in Sindarin and that is all, or if it has something to do with the Númenóreans being in Middle-earth now. That it's sort of assumed that they are speaking Adonaic to each other when they are in Númenor, and that's why we hear them, when we hear Elendil and Galadriel use Quenya, it's because they're choosing to speak Elvish specifically, when the English that we are hearing is actually Adonaic in that case. But now that they're in Middle-earth, perhaps the location is going to make a difference. So perhaps now that they are in Middle-earth, the Númenóreans and the other elves and such will start speaking Sindarin? I'm not sure. All we have to do is remember that at this point in the Legendarium, there is no common tongue. And that's why it makes it a little bit confusing for this show. When they are speaking English, it all depends on location and who is talking to whom, to figure out what language English represents in that case. And it oscillates, so it makes it really difficult. But we did hear some Sindarin. I'm really, really happy about that. We had a shout out to Arwen's Norolim moment, which is run swift. It's ride faster, basically. We also had a fun little detail in that when Arondir names Galadriel, he says Galadriel, with a th sound instead. And the fun thing about that is because it's a mispronunciation, but it's basically a Sylvan dialect version of Galadriel. This is what the Sylvan elves probably would have called her, but the meaning behind it is slightly different, because Galad is from Kalad in Quenya, which is light, but Galav, with a the sound, a voiced th sound at the end, means tree in Nandorin. So there's sort of this double meaning with Galadriel's name, because if you say Galadriel, much like Karas Galadon, the Galav part is tree, so it's the city of trees, you know, city of grand trees. So we did get that sort of second meaning in his pronunciation of Galadriel, which I thought was, I'm not sure if that was purposeful or not, or if it was just the way that Ismael Cruz Cordova pronounced it in the moment, but for us Elvish geeks, that was really fun, because we're like, that's how the Nandor would have said it. It was wonderful. So, that's basically it. I mean, Galadriel called Adar one of the Moriondor, which would be Sons of Darkness. And that's based in Quenya. And then we had the line from Elendil to the horse, that Athai, no Idwihi, Idwihi. And it's just easy, be peaceful now, be at ease. And then, of course, Udun, the name of the episode itself, is, it's Sindarin for dark pit, but it's the name that the orcs use for hell. And later on, when Mordor is established, there is a specific area of Mordor that is then called Udun. So, that's about it. That's most of the Elvish. So, if there are any questions, please feel free to ask. But that's basically it. I'm going to switch up to the other screen again. Yeah, I sincerely hope that Halbrand is not Sauron. I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon to have so many hints pointing to him and have them actually be correct. Like, I still really desperately want the reveal of Sauron to happen in the final episode of the first season, in order for us to be hooked to the second season. You know, and I wouldn't put it past the creators of this show, given how they revealed Adar as a fuzzy, half-visible picture, which we knew who it was because we had promo images. They very well could do a similar thing where we get either a fuzzy version of who Anatar is, where all we get is a vague impression of hair color or something like that, or it could be voice only. It could be auditory hint only. But, you know, maybe we have a tiny little scene at the end of the last episode of Season 1 where Celebrimbor is, you know, lying back on his velvet chaise lounge in his office. And he's, you know, venting or something. Or maybe having a drink to congratulate Anatar, or to congratulate himself even, on the successful construction of the forges that they are trying to do so that Mithril can be utilized in Eregion. I think him popping a cork and having a drink with what we would assume is his second in command, and then naming him Anatar at the last moment, having that be the final reveal for the season would definitely hook us in to watch season 2. Because anybody who knows the lore is going to be like, oh, it's Anatar! But will we get to see this person? Will we only get to hear this person? We have no idea. So I feel like that would be a great hook for season 2, and then they can go in relatively blind. They can... Excuse you, where are you going? Where are you going? Okay, you're going up. And you get to see my cat's butthole. Thanks, Alana. You're so weird. Move it, kitten bit. Come here. Yeah, I think they've done so far with reveals, so fingers crossed. Yeah, I want Sauron, especially with this whole Mithril Light of the Silmarils, all the elves are gonna die if we don't do this by spring. Like, that reeks of Sauron BSing. That sounds like some seed of weird, you know, Elrond called it apocryphal. Just some weird ass bullshit that Sauron is taking advantage of and has convinced Celebrimbor, and through Celebrimbor, Gil-galad, that this needs to happen, and it needs to happen now. Because putting a sense of urgency behind this, it feels like a Sauron move. It really does. So to have him already working his deception and his, you know, silver-tongued magic behind the scenes, I think that makes perfect sense, especially when they are condensing the timeline. We don't need to see the moment that Anatar enters into Eregion, because ultimately that's not the important bit. The important bit is showing that he, you know, very quickly has influence, and that Celebrimbor is compromised. He doesn't realize it yet, and perhaps even the audience shouldn't realize it yet. But having that hint of, this is Anatar, I think that would be really fun. And there was another name for Anatar, wasn't there? I feel like there was. Let me bring it up on a different page. I feel like there was another name for Anatar. So if they decide that they're going to go more like Unfinished Tales version instead of Silmarillion version, that they could include this other name instead, and maybe that's another name that Anatar is going by. Hey, Khalil, welcome! Yeah, it definitely feels like a Sauron move. I agree, Amanda. Absolutely. Alright, let me bring up the other bit here. Okay, Tolkien Gateway. And let's just look up Anatar. This is what we do. And at this point, the episode should be going live any minute, so we'll cue that up in a moment. Zigur. Come on, there was another name for him, wasn't there? Let's look at etymology and see what pops up. Other names. Okay, here we go. Other names. Myron was his original name. Here we go. In an isolated note, it says, and this is from, where is this from? Unfinished Tales. I was right. I'm like, I remember reading it recently in Unfinished Tales. In an isolated note, Tolkien gives other names used by Sauron when he seduced the elves in the Second Age. Artano, which means high smith, or Aulendil, or Aulendil, which is someone devoted to Aule. So this would be him playing up the fact that he's supposed to be a messenger from the Valar. He tried to position himself as being the first messenger, because I think people had a vague idea that at some point messengers were going to come, and those would be the Istari. Those were supposed to happen sometime in the Second Age. But Sauron was trying to position himself as like a proto-Istari. He wanted to be considered the first of those messengers, as a bit of a foil to the Istari later. And so him giving any of these names, because Anatar means Lord of Gifts, Artano means High Smith, and Aulendil is devotee of Aule. So any of those three could make an appearance. I think it would be really funny, actually, if they didn't use Anatar, if they used one of these other two names. So That's my random note. You learned something new today. You learned that it wasn't just Anatar. It could be Artano or Aulendil. We've got so many Endil names, though. We've got Valandil, we've got Elendil, and this would then be Aulendil. I think it's too close to Elendil for them to use that one, but maybe Artano. It's not live, but it's called The Eye. Ooh. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Like, are there legit criticisms for this series? Yes, absolutely there are. There are several things that just don't hit the way that they should. One of those things being language in some cases. There are certain anachronisms that I feel like they didn't make much effort to exclude. Things like the words like okay or cool. You know, like stuff like that, it doesn't make sense in Middle-earth. So there are bits like that that I would definitely criticize. Someone did a wonderful blog post about that over on the OneRing.net. It was great. And it very, in a very, what's the word I'm looking for? In a very articulate way, it summarized all of, like, the linguistic misgivings. Because, you know, the use of Elvish and Dwarvish and Adonaic and stuff like that is all well and good, but those are things that Tolkien himself spelled out in some ways. Like, there are experts for that. But I feel like in concentrating so much on the languages that Tolkien created, they've sort of neglected the English part of the writing for the show in some cases. I feel like they've just sort of let things slip through that just could have been worded differently for much greater theatrical effect. Hey, at least episode 7 is 3 minutes longer than episode 6. That's good to see. You guys are the best, doing all the refreshing so that I don't have to. I appreciate you guys. Oh, are you coming up again? Oh, that's Gray. Hi, Gray. Hello, Gray. Yeah, what are you doing? My cats have been hovering because they have seen how in pain I've been the last couple days. So they've been very attentive, huh, Gray? Just thrilled to see more of Middle-earth and POC. Yes, exactly. 100% agree. There are some things that I'll gripe about, but none of them are deal breakers. Like, are there complaints for the show? Absolutely. And some of the choices that they've made so far, I'm just kind of like, But for the most part, I feel like characterization has been pretty spot on. I know other people would disagree with that. That's okay. But I feel that characterization-wise, they've done quite a good job. I think characterization-wise, the weakest links are... While I do love the Harfoots as they have been set up as a culture, I feel like sometimes the way they speak to each other doesn't quite hit the way it needs to. So I would say that's a little bit on the weaker side. And then the Elves of Lindon. The Elves of Lindon are not hitting quite right. And that's partly because we haven't had very much screen time for characters like Gil-galad. All we know is that Gil-galad is doing political, maneuvering the entire time. And while, that's accurate for his character, it's not painting him in a very, very positive light. And I think that's okay, but it's a bit jarring for people in the fandom. For good reason. Gil-galad is a well-beloved character, but he's only ever spoken about in, the highest of terms, because he's just remembered as the last Elven king. At least of the Noldor. Thranduil instantly in my head is just like, excuse you? Last Elven king, excuse you? He's like, that's me. Yeah, my sweet babies, they're sweet. I love you, Gray. Are you gonna come over here so people can see you, or no? What? getting some tail. Come here. It's okay. I hear you purring. You're okay. He doesn't like being maneuvered. There you go. See? Good boy. You're purring. I know you're okay because you're purring. You're a good boy, Gray. He'll probably just squat right here. That's what he tends to do. Yep, there he goes. And sitting now. Here he is. You're a good boy, Gray. He's a sweet kitty. There we go. I'm ready. Fernando would say it like, excuse you. He would just, the eyebrow would shoot up. It's live! Okay. Alright, refreshing then. Refreshing. I'm so eager. Yep, there it is, there it is, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna click on it and queue things up. So we'll probably be an ad. Skip the ad. Okay. It is queued up and ready to go. I'm so excited. So once again, we're going to start things before it turns to midnight Eastern / 9 p.m. Pacific. But the episode is live, so everyone go ahead and if you are going to watch with me, please refresh your browser and make sure that it is popping up. This is episode 7, The Eye. I'm like, what do they mean, the eye? Because at this, with the condensed timeline, it is possible that that this whole thing that's been happening with Adar is happening simultaneously to the beginnings of the construction of Barad-dûr. Because Barad-dûr was being constructed from about the year 1000 of the Second Age to 1600 of the Second Age. But 1600 is the year that the One Ring is created. And that is the point at which, canonically, Orodruin, Mount Doom, erupts. And it's after that eruption in 1600, and then I think there's another event later on, that's when men start calling it Amun Amarth, which is the Sindarin words for Mount Doom. Yeah, everybody ready? Okay. Let me bring up my timer, which I have ready to go. All right, everybody ready? Okay, let's do a countdown then. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, things are going. And that off. Okay, here we go. Oh, the stranger thinking that he's peril is just so sad. I really think that he's a good guy. The fate of the entire elven race. I loved the whole, whose hands? Yours. Okay, recapping from last episode. He got the sword. Halbrand accepted his throne. And then mountain go boom. And Galadriel just looks right at that pyroclastic flow and just lets it consume her. And here we go, opening credits. I'm ready. I'm so ready. I will not skip anything because I want everyone to be at the same time code as I am. I'm so excited. Of course, I'm supposed to be I recorded an advert for a paying client, but it had to do with the episodes still coming out, and they still haven't gotten back to me and told me if what I filmed is okay. It's been over a month. I'm like, so there's only one episode left, you guys. Are we gonna move forward with this? Because I'd kind of like to be paid for the effort that I put in. We shall see. Worst case scenario, I don't get paid. I'll be kind of miffed about it, but ooh, okay, let's see who is directing this episode too. That's probably information I could have looked up prior to now, but let's see. Okay. I'm so ready. All right, Payne and McKay, Jason Cahill, and Charlotte. Okay, so this one is done by the same director as the last episode. Oh man, that red tone over top everything. Yeah, Galadriel and everyone else is just gonna be flattened and covered in ash. And we'll see if we have any named character deaths from this happening. Everyone keeps saying Ontimo is gonna be dead, and I'm like, ouch! Not Ontimo. It's too soon for Valandil to die, though, so if any of Isildur's friends are going to go, it's definitely Ontimo. Well, welcome to Mordor. It is now the Land of Darkness. Oh no! Horse on fire, no! Oh, that's sad. Hopefully the stuff that's hooked onto the horse gets taken off. I love how I'm just like, I'm not even concerned about all the people that just died. I'm like, no, not the horses! I love how there's a certain muffled quality to the sound mix. That everything is muffled because of the ash that's everywhere. Being in fog or ash does sort of dampen sound like that. So I like that detail in the mix. Good luck, friends! Oh, watching with your family in about 15 minutes? Excellent. You can always pause the stream and then just press the play button again. So if you want to still watch it with me, you can. If not, enjoy when you get to see it. Enjoy! Okay, there's Theo. He's shaking as fuck, though. Yeah, everyone should be coughing. The smoke would be absolutely ridiculous. People are on fire. Screams. This is all expected. Ooh, there's Valandil. No, not Ontimo, no! We called it, but no! There's Miriel. Oh no! There it is, Ontimo. Oh! F's in chat for Ontimo. You're not wrong, Dahlia. Ah, no. Ontimo, no! Soft boy Ontimo! F's in chat for Ontimo. The soft boys always go first, right? They're either first to die or, like, last to go. Like, they last the longest, like Samwise, right? Oh, boy. It's okay, Gray. Just turning the brightness of my screen up a bit. There we go. Ooh, ooh, that's bad. Miriel is one of the characters that if they kill her off early, it won't change anything canonically. Not much. That juxtaposition of, like, fire and then all the way to the Harfoots where everything's green and vibrant. You smell that? Wood smoke. Oh, wait. Yeah. Yeah. It's not gonna be good. Something's gonna have gone terribly, terribly wrong. Oh. Oh, were these meteors? These were meteors from Orodruin. Oh gosh, how many Harfoots are dead now, too? Yeah, dormant volcanoes, but when a new evil rises, yeah. We were wondering how it would be affecting the Harfoots. Here's our answer. That's some major throw from Orodruin, though, because Orodruin's a good distance away. Even if they are hugging the mountains. Oh, Poppy. Coming to Nori's defense because Nori's still kind of scared of him. Hey, you know, better Sadek than you at this point, right? If you're not feeling up for it, Sadek is gonna ask. Oh. In Vignata is he's trying to renew the tree. Rotina. Oh, trees do talk. Some do. Quivienna. Yeah, he's trying to refresh and the Koita and Koiva are he's trying to breathe life into it. This is all Quenya. I only know bits and pieces. No, it's not good. The stranger's trying so hard. He looks so horrified with himself. This might be the point where he basically gets ostracized and he ends up in the hands of the mystics, which we're probably going to go to now. Oh, nope, okay. Back to Elrond. He's trying, right? The next 5 centuries. I love that they spoke Khuzdul. It is impressive. I'm gonna say not any elf, but him. Ooh, and he's bowing too. Pleading even. Wow. Five centuries of support is no small thing for the elves to give. But Mithril is no small thing for the dwarves to give too, and they're gonna pay with lives because it's so treacherous to mine, right? Hi, Gray. I'm sorry, I'm ruining it by talking too much, Gray. My cat's just glaring at me. I know, the way Nori looked at the stranger. Sad. Alright, Durin and Durin. Gosh, Owain, I love Owain so much. What a great actor. Welcome. If you are trying to sync up with me, the timer is down here. That's where we are in episode 7 right now. You can always pause the stream if you need to catch up, and then just unpause it when you catch up. He's not wrong. I do understand Durin III's reasoning here. That whatever the fate of the elves is, it's not up to the dwarves to change it somehow. He's not wrong. What's interesting, though, is that canonically, because the dwarves weren't created by the one god, it is one of the few things that could influence the elves. Oh, she pissed, though. Disa! Oh, she loves Elrond just as much, and I love her for it. The 3 of them, man. Oh, she ain't happy, though. I'm joking. I love that he pushed it just because the whole mother-in-law thing. Oh, man. Come on, work some thruple magic here. Yeah, it's not looking good, Elrond, but we know everything's gonna work out somehow because Mithril does come to the elves, canonically. It's all about the journey, though, right? Oh, Durin's not happy about it. Oh, the leaf. Oh, I love that. Just, we do not say goodbye. Ah. Oh my god, no! Durin crying as he thinks he's just saying goodbye forever. No! No, Durin crying is like the worst! No! Giving the Mithril back too. Oh my god. I'm sincerely tearing up. This is so hard. We know something's gonna work out, but oh man, Owen, how dare you, sir? Oh my gosh. That kills me. He really thinks he's never gonna see his friend again. Oh, something's happening with the leaf. Sizzle, sizzle. Oh, we're actually gonna see Mithril affecting the leaf. Proof that it actually works. Oh my gosh. Oh, I like the way they turned that scene and made it more than just a goodbye. Oh wow, look at that shot. And the continuing lightning from the eruption. Yeah, Galadriel's right. Thunk. Dahlia, I still have faith. I still think that it's being manipulated by Sauron. I'm hoping they didn't just create that whole thing to force the plot where it shouldn't necessarily go. Because Mithril does not necessarily preserve, not like that. Because that would mean that, you know, everything that's made out of Mithril would somehow have magical powers to keep people alive longer, but that's not how Mithril is supposed to work. It's powerful, but it's a proverbial double-edged sword. Well, here we see some of the survivors. He's probably looking for Isildur. Looks like that's Beric. So Beric survived. Nope. The agony of a father that's already lost his wife. But the leaf, how? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It remains to be seen. It might be something that we have to wait through season 2 to figure out. Because that will definitely have something to do with what is going on in Eregion, in Ostenedil. She looks shell-shocked as fuck. Oh no! We know Isildur's not dead. But we know Antimo is gone, which is super sad. He's gonna punch your lights out. Oh, the way his voice broke. Dude, fucking cold, Galadriel. I mean, you're not wrong, but damn, girl. Oh gosh, look at all the interior of the trees just smoldering. Yep, the orcs can move whenever they want now. Again, she's not wrong. That's a great piece of advice. That every war is fought both without and within. The inner conflict is something that Tolkien was very passionate about showing. Oh, the music. Bear McCreary for the win, man. I love that Galadriel just gave her sword to Theo. We'll have to see how Theo utilizes it later. I still think we might have a ring wraith out of him eventually, but we'll have to see. Yeah, where's Bronwyn? Yeah, we don't know. Gosh, she is so shell-shocked. Oh man, she is not looking good. Oh. She's blinded right now? I mean, we did see a lot of redness around her eyes, so oh, damn. Did they blind Miriel? Gosh, and she was told that she would only be met with darkness. Oh, that is harsh. Tar Palantir being right. Oh man, she's blind. We'll have to see if that's a permanent thing or... Oh, damn. I can't read what your name is because it's in Hangul, but Miriel is apparently at least temporarily blinded from the smoke and ash and whatever slammed into her. Greenwood the Great. Oh, he's sending him to Greenwood. But yes, Mithrandir is the Grey Pilgrim, the Grey Wanderer. So yes, that would play into him being one of the Istari. We just don't know which one. If he's Gandalf or if he's one of the Blue Wizards, perhaps. I don't think they're kicking him out. I think that this is just a natural place to part ways. At least temporarily. This certainly won't be the last we see of the Harfoots. Oh, the little flower was blooming out of the tree. Something of his magic worked then. I think Nori might choose to go with him, that Nori and Poppy might choose to accompany him. Because I think if Nori goes, Poppy will follow. Nori will have to take heart, though. No, with the apple. Oh gosh, what amazing acting. You can just see the wetness in his eyes. It's such a beautiful shot. Her small hand in his big one. Yeah, we'll see if this is a delayed thing where she and Poppy end up following him or not. That's not necessarily true, just sometimes you gotta get your hand burned by the fire to know that it's hot. I love Marigold. I know Marigold's only her stepmother, but just she obviously cares about her so much. And I love that little star charm that Nori has on her necklace there. Again, since the Harfoots don't make anything out of metal, they don't cast metal at all, it must have been a found treasure from the elves at some point, and I love that tiny little detail. I love Galadriel Theo quality time. Ooh, have you ever lost kin? It's more than just her brother. She's lost, like, 3 brothers. No way! Wait, what? They killed Celeborn? No! What? They killed off Celeborn? I was not expecting that. No! Wait, what if Celeborn comes back as being one of these Uruk? That he got captured and twisted, much like Adar. Celeborn is Galadriel's husband, canonically. Oh. Yeah, he may still be alive. Saying that she just never saw him again leaves it very open-ended. Means he could come back at some point. But she believes he's dead. That's not what I was expecting. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you're watching it with me. Oh gosh. I never saw him again, leaves things open-ended, and I can still have hope because Celeborn is not supposed to be dead. But they could change his state of being. But that would also... Oh man. I'll get into it in a minute. I'm trying to pay attention to their conversation. Right, Jackie? Oh, poor Theo. Yeah, I will definitely flip a table if we don't have some sort of reunion at some point. Even if it's like the very end of the 5th season, where Celeborn finds her at last, and she just has a moment of overpowering joy knowing that she will never be without him again. No, he probably wouldn't come back from the Halls of Mandos. That's Glorfindel, but Celeborn could very well have been captured by the Dark Forces and just be wandering. He could still be in custody of the Uruk. There are plenty of possibilities for him. He could have wandered all the way into Greenwood and be amongst Sylvankin. So there are several different places he could be. Having it ambiguous I am absolutely okay with, but oh man, for a moment there I thought they killed him off, and I was having palpitations. Oh man. Good lord. Don't do that to me, bro. Yeah, I want to see some Ents rising up and kicking some ass. Excuse me. Man flesh. No, I'm just kidding. If he says man flesh, I swear. Just ashes, okay. Nothing but ashes. Lost like the Antwives. Too soon. It's always too soon. We saw them when the meteor fell, you know? And we didn't see where precisely that was, but it looked like it was where the Harfoots were before, so we might yet see them. Alright, back to Khazad-dûm, where I think someone's gonna have a word with Durin the Third. Or Durin and Disa and Elrond are just taking matters into their own hands. I love that Elrond's not afraid to get his hands dirty. Like, he's down there helping. Did it. Is he basically gonna be like, I let you in? He lost on purpose. I love these two. Elf lies. Winded? Called it! Oh my god. I love these two so freaking much. gonna bite your tongue. Durin, son of Durin. That's fair. Be worthy of the name of his father. Oh, Elrond took that a little... Oh my god! This is one of my favorite details about the elves. They only reveal their true names to their loved ones. Are we gonna learn Durin's real name? Is he gonna give Elrond a name in Dwarvish? For the far side, no. You can't do that to me! Rob, Owain, you guys are killing me, man! I'm just speaking directly to the actors. How dare you? Oh, man. It's like we have our secret names, and I'm like, I know you do! Like, that's a bit of lore that I always loved, that we don't know the dwarves' true names, because they don't tell them to outsiders. If we learn Durin's real name through Elrond, I'ma lose it. I'ma lose it. There we go. Looks like a cavern full of mithril. Look at that look on his face. Elrond does look good dirty. Yeah, what do your elf eyes see, eh? Oh, wow. You can see all of the veins of it. Yeah, they were not doing this with permission. Yeah, not gonna be great. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. Durin's basically gonna be on house arrest. Oh, man. Yeah, he's just gonna have to have faith about it now. Yeah, Durin's gonna get a bit of a talking to, I'm sure. Oh no, bringing his mother into it right off the bat. Oh, that's so sweet. Ah, oh, what a great turn of phrase. Mighty and terrible as an army with banners. He's moving them, just not the way you want him to. Isn't that always the way with kids? Mm. That's saying so much. Yeah. I'm not surprised by Durin the Third's reaction to that. Oh, damn! Them's fighting words. Like, oh. Be taking his Durin collar? Yeah. He's gonna get his ass exiled, man. If he gets exiled, maybe Narvi gets sent with him, and that's how Narvi meets Celebrimbor. Oh, man. The collar, in case anyone is wondering, it says Durin Deathless on it. Oh, ouch. Basically, like, revoking his name of Durin. Frickin' yikes, man. Very, very harsh. The magic worked! The magic worked! Ooh, girl, look at all that. See? Wow, look at all those apples, though. Holy cow. Applesauce, not apple sausage. So many apples. All the greens, and oh man. That really is a bounty. That looks so good. I have an apple. I'm tempted to grab it. But unfortunately, since I just got a tooth, worked on, I can't bite into an apple right now. So juicy sweet! Ah! So juicy sweet. Uh-oh, what does she see in the river? We just heard juicy sweet. Now what? Oh, big feet. And she's gone. I love that. Just instantaneous retreat. Are the mystics gonna grab this? Yup. Okay. Yoink. Oh, these three are intimidating in just the right way. Yeah, now they're being watched by each other. They see the big people. Oh, is she going to send the blight through the whole area again? Or is she just going to read the magic from the tree? I'm basically wondering, is she going to make it wilt again, or is she just going to read that there was magic used? I feel like this is dark cult territory here. Do things wilt in her path? Like, I would kind of like that detail, even though it shouldn't be something that happens with mere mortals. What's gonna happen to Nori? I feel like they're gonna snatch her. Yeah. They are not bothered. Look at Brady's face. She's just like, I'm a bothered. I'm a bothered though. I ain't even bothered though. Yeah, just. Wow. That was kind of. I'm kind of turned on. This should not be. I should not be turned on by this. New kink unlocked. Oh no! Mean. She's mean though. I know, such a power move. No, they're homes. That's low. That's totally a devotee of Sauron right there, though. Like, seriously. Yeah, very intimidating, no shit. I'm kind of turned on, but I'm also really sad for the Harfoots. I have a thing for the evil characters. Can you blame me? Especially someone so beautifully androgynous. Damn. I'm a goner. Simping for whoever that character is. No. Beric's like, where's Isildur? Ah. He's like, no. Elendil's gonna lose it. Elendil's gonna lose it if he can't get that horse under control. Because he's bonded with Isildur. They're just gonna let him go. Yeah, I'm like, this is like Brego all over again. This horse has seen enough. Let him go. I know, right? Mystic Simp status unlocked. I was already loving her just for the sheer evilness in the eyes, but oof. You don't mean that, Elendil. Everything's gonna be okay. Don't show up right now, Galadriel. It's not good timing. Yeah, now Beric needs to go find Isildur. I'm sure that's exactly what's gonna happen. Oh gosh, and Theo's gonna have to look and hope that his mother and Arondir aren't among the dead. But not everyone would have been recovered either, so... Oh, yikes. Welcome to the Houses of Healing. Oh. It's pretty gnarly. Guy lost one leg. Okay, for a second there I thought he lost both legs, and I'm like, that's rough. I don't know that that's... Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think that's gonna be Bronwyn. She might be there, though. I don't know. Oh, please don't let Bronwyn be dead. What a fake out it would have been. I hope it's not her. Oh man, I hope it's not her. Hair doesn't say everything. Okay, not her. Whew. Okay. I'm like, the hair is not enough of a tell right now, okay? That would have been really harsh. Really, really harsh if she had died after surviving the arrow the previous episode. I'm not surprised Arondir made it out. I'm glad that Bronwyn did as well. I love seeing that warm reception between the two of them. Right. Oh, man. Stepdaddy's safe. Yeah, they're gonna be searching a while. Elendil's gonna wanna punch her in the face. Like... Say you're not in Numenor. Yeah, Elendil will never want to come back again, but that's not his fate. I know the environment is beautiful. Everything is beautiful. Aww. She gonna slap her face, or is this a tender moment? What a badass. Yeah. Miriel's like, you think this is sad? She's like, let this be the beginning of us kicking ass. Elendil does not like the sound of that. Yeah, y'all pissed off the wrong queen. Yes, Ar. Yes. All of the kings of Numenor have Elvish names for a while, and then they take Adunaic names. Like Ar Pharazôn. It's basically just it's the title of king in front of their name. Oh, only used on the wrong path. I missed that detail. Oh, hi, Alana. Going up again? Okay. We got shoulder cat again. Lana. I apologize for her display of butthole. Alana, what are you doing? Silly kitten. Yeah. Ow. Ooh, kitten. Careful. Careful of those claws. Oof. Come on. Thank you. Just keep walking. Just keep walking. Just keep walking, walking, walking. What do? We walk. Oh, thanks. That was Alana. I do have a big, fat, gray boy named Gray. But that was Alana. She's my dilute tortie. She's going after him, isn't she? Yup. Yeah, not alone. Poppy's gonna go with her. Really? Marigold's going! Ooh, Sadok as well? Malva, we're so proud. We're so proud of Malva right now. Oh, that's cool. We're all gonna die. I like that group. I like Sadok, Marigold, Poppy, and Nori. Oh boy, Elendil's gonna be such a pain in the ass though. Until Isildur comes back. Ah, cool. Pelargir, yeah. They'll basically be starting the Numenorian colonies down there. Eventually, when Numenor falls, Elendil comes and he becomes king of Arnor and Gondor. Oh, not looking great. He needs elven healing. Cue Ethelas. I called it. This wound needs elvish medicine. Here we go. And this is how Galadriel reunites with the elves of Lindon. This is... Yes, some people will be like, this plays into Sauron because he's going to the elves. But if he gets accepted into the elven settlements, that's against canon for Anatar. I still think that Anatar is already there in Osten Evil, manipulating things with Celebrimbor behind the scenes already. I think that makes more sense than Halbrand being Sauron. I just think that something happened in Halbrand's past with Adar that happened when he was younger. Like, must have been something with a wife, kids, family of some sort that made him very eager. I think maybe he even worked for Adar, you know, doing the whole making hard choices in order to survive thing. I think that that's pretty likely. But that's my own personal read of the situation. And Sauron finally meets Celebrimbor. I mean, if Halbrand is Sauron, then yes. I'm surprised they're letting Halbrand ride in that state, but okay. His wound needs elvish medicine. Let's make him ride a horse. Okay, and looks like we're gonna end with the dwarves here, because this is close enough to the end. Yeah, I was gonna say, we saw a little piece of this conversation. Hi, kitten. See, but Elrond should be there, sharing the kisses with both of them. This is a hill I will die on. He's like, wait a second, I saw this leaf. Mer. Oh, and this is where we see the leaf burn up. Because sizzle sizzle, there be Balrogs in the depths. Well, Balrog singular, not plural. Ah! I love that effect. Ah, there it is. Oh, back to Adar. Yep, Adar technically won. What's his name, though? I'm glad they call him Lord, though. Mordor, here we go. Yeah, Southlands. Yoink. It is no longer the Southlands, it is now Mordor. Ah, I love how they did that with the name changing. Yes! Okay, I approve. Very nice. Okay. And we should be given... Okay, next up, is this gonna be... Preview for episode 8. Alright, here we go. Autoplay. Let's see what happens. Season finale! Ah! Oh, it's cool that she's like, we are the faithful now. Oh, man. The Mystics, though. Eee! I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay. Alright. Holy cow. Okay. Well, let's stop the timer now. Bring that up. Pause. Clear. Alright, there we go. So... Oh man, several elements I really liked about this episode. Finding out that Galadriel thinks Celeborn is dead, that answers the question. So many people were just getting on everyone about where's Celeborn. And Morvith was like trying so hard to deflect people on that. Nori's eyes went white like the Zealots? Wait, what? I missed that. Hold up. I gotta see that again. Hold on. I'm like, hold up. I'm like, I need to see that. Okay, preview of episode 8. I'm like, I'm bringing it up again. Hold on. Okay. Alright, let's see. It was creepy. Okay, we got the stranger. We've got an explosion going on in the tower in Austin Evil. Oh, I didn't see that. I paused it at just the right moment. Oh, man. Yeah, what's going on with Nori there? Is Nori gonna get possessed by the Mystics? Ah, oh, sorry, I brought my stopwatch back up by accident there. Ooh, snap. That is creepy. Good editing, though. Good editing showing the, showing that happening to her and then immediately cutting to the Mystic who also has those eyes. Well done. And then it looked like that was Miriel pulling Galadriel's dagger out of the water there. Because it was Miriel's ring. We saw the ring on her hand in episode 6 when she was putting the looking glass over top the map. So I believe that was Miriel's hand with Galadriel's dagger. Good or bad episode? I think it was good. Several things I liked about that. I liked there being a bit of interaction between characters who normally wouldn't be shoved together. I like there being some interaction between Galadriel and Theo. I'm still on the fence about Halbrand. I'm hoping he's not Sauron. That seems like too... It seems like a reach to me. Like, I see where people are getting the ideas from. I get it, but I don't want that to be true. It could be true, but I hope it's not. Loved the interaction between... As always, loved the interaction between Elrond and Durin. Really, really like that. And Durin and Disa as well. Gosh, the three of them are just... those characters have such wonderful chemistry together. I'm just really, really happy about the depiction of Elrond. I think Rob just does a fantastic job. There's Gray. Hi, Gray. You came back. Come here. Come here. Let the people see you. He's like, no, not people. See, it's my Gray boy. Gray. I love you, Gray. And yes, my keyboard is Elvish. I do have an Elvish keyboard. Okay, so, yeah, I really, really loved the interaction between Durin and Elrond there. They addressed some things about the languages that, like, it's one of my favorite details about the dwarves, is that the dwarven language itself is very incredibly difficult for anyone to learn, the elves included. It's fantastically rare for an elf to speak Dwarvish, even in small part. And Elrond obviously has a basic knowledge of Khuzdur. So that's super cool. And there's the food dispenser for my cats. Which means it's 10 p.m. But I really, really like the interaction there where it's very clear that Elrond knows Khuzdur, because that's significant in and of itself. But then, you know, that Durin even mentions that we have our secret names. Names that we only tell to our family and our deepest, closest friends, and, you know, our lovers and stuff like that. You know, and he's about to give that name to Elrond, and that just, like, the fan fiction is just gonna be amazing. Oh, the fan fiction is gonna be amazing. The vibe between the two of them, I swear, it's just so lovely. It's so lovely. Like, the two of them don't have to kiss for there to be a very real and deep relationship there. Speaking as someone who is asexual, or at least on the ace spectrum, I was in a long-term committed relationship with my partner, and we were non-physical. I never even French kissed my partner, much less more than that. But it didn't make our soulmate status any less for not sharing that physical part of the relationship. So to me, I see echoes of what I felt for my partner between Elrond and Durin, and it's just really nice to see, because it feels like platonic life partner status, and that relationship is coexisting in pretty much harmony with Durin's existing marriage with Disa. It's incredibly fulfilling for me personally, because that's basically the relationship that I had with my partner. I was close with her husband, but the two of us weren't intimate. But it was basically this same sort of poly V, with one portion of that relationship being non-physical, and it's just, it feels so validating that this relationship is very, very real, to the point that, you know, Durin just got basically demoted by his father, basically being like, you're not the heir anymore, because how dare you give this half-elf the status like he is your brother? How dare. That's very, it's just very much it has the same vibe as coming out as gay to your family and being rejected. Like, how dare you have this relationship with an elf? Even though this is just, it's a friendship and a deep, deep relationship. Camaraderie. It doesn't have to be physical for it to be perceived the same way that a physical relationship is. So that connects on a very deep level. And if I ever get to meet with with Owain and Sophia and Rob again. If I ever get the chance to give them big hugs, like, I can't even tell them how much that portrayal of the V relationship means to me. That's so close to my heart. You listen to Nori's theme to fall asleep at night. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, same status, but defile his mother's memory. I know. Gosh. From Durin Sr.'s point of view. Yeah, exactly. The words that were spoken there were super harsh. Celeborn is lost like the Entwives were lost. Ah, like, we'll find him eventually. We'll find him eventually. I don't think the Entwives ever get found, but Celeborn should be found at some point, because he does end up being the Lord of Lothlorien, beside Galadriel. So, there is a period of time where Celeborn is relatively unaccounted for. To have him sort of gone off to battle and then she doesn't see him again is a convenient way of leaving him out of the series. And I'm okay with that. I'm glad that they gave an explanation for it, because everyone was wondering what on earth is up with Celeborn. But that still leaves it open for him to come back later and maybe play a role later on, or even if he just comes back and he's like, go do your thing, Galadriel, and I'll be here when you finish, and, you know, have him be the homemaker. I'm totally okay with that too. Because while Celeborn was a good leader and did lead the forces of Lothlorien, especially in their fights against Dol Guldur in the Third Age, he's not necessarily known as a warrior. So having him in that slightly more domestic and political role as a figurehead would make absolute sense, and I would be totally okay with it. Next episode, Galadriel arrives at Lindon with Halbrand in her arms, and Celeborn stands there looking around, awkward. Yeah. I would laugh if suddenly Celeborn was just there. And Galadriel's doing the, it's not how it looks. I think that would be, I think if they did something like that, they would do it more for comedic timing, and less for the drama, because I don't think there would be drama. I think that Galadriel and Celeborn are much like Durin and Disa. They're just, you know, solid as a rock, if you'll pardon the pun. But I do think that Galadriel and Celeborn have a very steady relationship. They were together for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. So it makes sense that Celeborn, I don't think he'd be bothered. I really don't think he would be bothered. At all. I mean, in my head, and this is just my head, again, fan interpretation here, my headcanon for Celeborn and Galadriel is that they have quite a stable but open marriage. So I don't think in my head, he wouldn't be offended even if Galadriel did have a thing for Halbrand. He'd just be like, well, he's mortal, so enjoy your toy. Enjoy your boy toy while he lasts. I'll still be here when he's long dead. Like, I don't see it bothering Celeborn, but that's my own personal headcanon. Yeah, he would support his partner's decision, but he would definitely want to meet Halbrand at some point. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Still not sold on the Mithril thing. Me neither. I don't get it. It's interesting to see that obviously what we thought was just an apocryphal thing does have its base in some level of truth. Now, did this thing actually happen where Mithril was caused by this tree that was struck by Manwë's lightning during this conflict between an elf and a Balrog? We don't know. all that we know for sure is that there is a Balrog in the mountains still. That happened during the War of Wrath when the Dark Forces were scattered. We know that one Balrog ended up in Khazad-dûm and just was buried deep and stayed sleeping for quite a while. So I think even there, they're kind of departing from canon a little bit, because nothing should happen with the Balrog in Khazad-dûm until we get to Lord of the Rings. Or, the years leading up to Lord of the Rings. Because they don't delve, too greedily and too deep until they get to the Third Age. The Third Age is when they delve so deep that they awaken the Balrog. So I don't know why they're going that direction with the Balrog being awake now. Obviously they're trying to just connect it back to the Mithril thing. But yeah, I'm not sold on the Mithril thing too. I'm still hoping that, only part of that story is true. That Mithril might have regenerative powers, and perhaps then that is why Mithril is used in some of the Rings of Power. That Mithril was used for Nenya. Mithril specifically was used for Nenya. And that's the Ring of Adamant that is then later given to Galadriel, and it's part of the reason that Lothlorien stays as well preserved as it does. So I could see them making that connection between Mithril and preservation, but I don't think that this fantastical story would be the reason why, necessarily. But maybe that's why the story was created, was to explain this phenomena of Mithril having that sort of magical property to it. We do know that it is a magical substance, but beyond that, we just see it manipulated into armor, manipulated into weaponry, and manipulated into at least one of the Rings of Power, namely Nenya. So we'll see how they handle that. But certainly, Mithril is something that canonically Sauron wanted to get his hands on. So I still think that Sauron is behind this. I still think he's already working his Whisper campaign and having his fingers in a lot of different pies at the moment, if you will. Yeah, the Balrog that they've shown doesn't seem to live that deep in the mine, exactly. Because, the Balrog that's deep down there is supposed to be so deep down there that we're not going to see him for several more thousands of years. And that's after extensive digging. So, yeah. Yeah. Perhaps it's a different Balrog. They could go that direction with it. And perhaps some sort of power is triggered. I mean, especially if Durin the Fourth, Owain's Durin, and Disa basically take over the dwarves and dethrone his father. If they take over and they start delving and doing the thing, there very well could be elves in the mines as well, helping them. I wouldn't put it past the elves of Eregion to want to help them mine the ore and not just, expect all the dwarves to do that work instead. So I could see elves being down there, and then you might have some sort of element of rekindling the origin story of Mithril. That there is this power struggle between the Balrog and an elf whose heart is pure as Manwë, apparently. And maybe we get some of that. Maybe we have that sort of come up again, and it puts the Balrog to sleep. That in some way, that elf triumphs at least temporarily. They might bring that into play. And that's just to give them an excuse to have a Balrog early on in the show as one of the dark forces in play. Even though canonically he shouldn't be in play. So they might have made up this myth in order to explain a way to put that Balrog conflict into the story, because it would mirror the origin story that they've created for Mithril. Whether or not that origin story is bollocks or not, it could be not true at all. Let's see. Yeah, its affects its magical properties. Correct. Like the chainmail that Frodo and Bilbo has. Yeah, worked by dwarves who had no connection to that magic, and that's why it didn't have those properties. Yeah. Yeah, it really is. The elves have an ability with mithril that the dwarves by themselves do not possess. And that's why things like Ithildin become so special. Ithildin is it's mithril based, but it's mithril that is then activated by starlight and moonlight. This is what we see the pattern on the doors of Moria. The doors of Durin are etched with Ithildin, and Ithildin is mithril based, but it's something that the elves created. It's Celebrimbor's creation. So the elves obviously have a unique ability to do something special with mithril that the dwarves can't do on their own. So it is sort of a collaboration thing. So it's good to see them setting that up, that the elves should have something special to offer with mithril that the dwarves wouldn't have on their own. But we'll see. The offer of the elves for the mithril sounded kind of cheap until they mentioned it would last for 500 years. Yeah, that's a lot of wheat. That's a lot of agriculture they're talking about. But I mean, elves have nothing but time, right? And I think at this point, elves would certainly have a lot of agricultural prowess, especially because the elves that survived Beleriand, a good portion of them were from Osiriand. And Osiriand was one of the few areas that was canonically agricultural. A lot of the elves, this is why I buy Arondir being a grower from Beleriand. I think he would have been one of the green elves of Osiriand. One of the Lyquindi. Or what's the name for them as a Lygrim? I think it's the Lygrim. Yeah, the Lygrim. So the green elves of Osiriand. I buy him being that. But yeah, so it does track. It does track that the elves would have a lot of agriculture going on around Lindon and throughout Eriadur. And, specifically Eregion, which then does heavy trade with the dwarves later. Halbrand with the scar can ride. Yeah, I know, that's how I felt too. I'm just like, he's riding with that, horrible injury that needs elven medicine? Okay. I'm like, you could have put him on a cart and carted him away, but okay. Too much care for that character to move him all over the place. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I do see where people are coming from with the thought that might be Sauron. And I mean, at that point, he would just be quasi-faking the injury. Like, the injury would be real, but he would be in no danger of actually perishing from it. So I feel like Sauron would be handling that differently than Halbrand is. But that would then also make sense why he's able to ride off with it, that he's not truly in any danger and he's just letting Galadriel take him wherever. If his point was shifting from I was going to infiltrate Numenor as Halbrand being a smith and just working my way up and getting influence in Numenor, if he is Sauron, he's obviously switching his plan to infiltrating the elves now. So I do see where people are thinking that he could be Sauron, and he could be. I just hope not. I hope not. I think it's too easy. I think it's too easy. I would like there to be more to the character than just, and he's been Sauron the whole time. I feel like I see that coming a mile away. I think too many people do, and I don't want it to be that easy. I don't want it to be that simple. I want them to keep us guessing. Right, speed over safety. They did say his wound soured, so he he may move, but he won't heal properly or start to fester without elven medicine. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Level of magic possessed by the cultist was a bit surprising. Interesting to see. Yes, same. I agree. Like badass though. Like these are people who are basically summoning the name of Sauron, basically, and they're like putting her hand right on the torch and just sapping up all of the fire from it. Ah, that was so badass. I'm low-key aroused. Har har. Am I attracted by this? No. Am I? I'm waiting for the little icon to go boom boom. It's just new kink unlocked. Yeah? I'm just petting you, Gray. And you're purring, so you can pretend you don't like it, but I know better. Yeah, it really is the most magical. We're seeing a lot of different forms of magic being utilized. And I like that. I like them bringing... I like them bringing some of that into play. Because, I mean, the elves aren't supposed to be magical. Elves are supposed to have developed skill to such a high level that to mortal eyes it seems like magic, but it's not actually. Elves are just supposed to be skilled to the point that it seems magical. But the Ainur would be magical. And so I do like the thought that that these cultists are basically tapping into the power of the Ainur. That someone has granted them power. Which is something that Sauron definitely would do. I think Sauron would know that he needs, underlings that wield some level of power, much like Morgoth knew that Sauron wielded power. I think that that's a possibility, that he might be granting them power, or perhaps, throwing this out of left field, maybe Brady Sisson's character is one of the Ainur. Maybe she is one of the Istari. If it's one of the blue wizards who then was corrupted in some way, we could end up with having her be one of the blue wizards. I wouldn't mind them gender swapping one of the wizards. I think that would be kind of refreshing. So I'm okay with that idea too. On one of the Discord servers, they think the cultists are just pretending to be Nori, since they took something from her hair. Good point. Very good point. That's certainly possible. Again, if these cultists have magic, then absolutely they could craft a disguise. That would make sense. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we'll see what they do with that, but yeah, I'd be interested to see if they're just impersonating her. The staff looked interesting too. Yeah, like the lidless eye. A little bit, yeah. Yeah. There's so much stuff. Like, we could really have fun with this. That's what I like so much about it all. It's just there's so much potential. And that's what I like about the series coming out episodically, that it wasn't just dropped as the entire season, because it gives us the chance to speculate and to have fun with it as a fandom. But yeah, gosh, several good things in this episode, I feel like. And there were a couple bits and pieces of Elvish, but nothing major for me to really decode, which means I'm not going to stay up all night. I'm due to take some ibuprofen and basically bed down. I'm so tired. I slept so little last night. It was just constant interruptions and tossing and turning because just this was so painful. So I'm probably going to take some meds and maybe have a little bit of ice cream or something and go to bed. I think I have some raspberry sorbet in my freezer. I might have a couple spoonfuls of that and then call it a night. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. I really enjoyed that. If we flip the scenes of these 7 episodes, you'd have the glorious founding of Mordor by Adar and his children, right? I think it would be interesting to have people do edits that concentrate on just the one plot line. I think it would be cool for someone to edit together all of the stuff that's just the dwarves. You know, Elrond and the dwarves. So it's just their plot line. You know, nothing but just the Harfoot stuff. Because I think it would be interesting to watch it in that format, to watch just their portion of the story. Because when it's scattered throughout so many episodes, it feels like we're only getting bits and pieces and little tiny hints and tastes. But to compile it all together would be kind of cool. And then we'd be able to see, you know, all of the stuff happening in the Southlands start to finish with no interruptions. I did particularly like how they took the Southlands and had it faded and then Mordor sort of fizzled up. They used like the fire special effects for the text. I thought that was fun. They're like, you know, that the name of the Southlands is a place that no longer exists. And they're like, well, what are we going to call it? He like didn't even answer because we all know. Mordor. And it is what he says. It's the land of shadow. It's the land of darkness. Yeah. It's the dark land. Ba-ba-ba-bum. So the eye in this episode. I'm kind of curious what you guys think the eye was. Oh, gosh, now that I mentioned going to bed, my body's like, yeah, you really should do that. The eye. I mean, we did see a bit of the mystics, like you said. The staff looked kind of eye-like. I don't know. I feel like I feel like this is a hint of just Sauron is watching. I think that all of this is just, it's chess pieces, right? And they're all starting to just file into place for Sauron for his plan. You would have preferred if Adar had said the name? I think so too, I agree. The fact that Miriel is blind also. Yeah, thank you. Keep forgetting that. That was an unexpected twist, having Miriel be blind. Because now, of course, the prediction of her father being, you know, he's like, don't go, all that awaits you is darkness, and she's just like, what? It was very, very foreboding, and proved true. I liked that they had him make that sort of prophecy, and he was correct. I thought he was just going to be correct in that it's the creation of Mordor. I thought that they were just going to be confronted with the reality that the Southlands is now Mordor. I didn't know how that would manifest, but that was my thought with his whole doom prophecy. But having her also be blinded, I think that's not a bad detail. And again, it's potentially going to weaken Miriel's influence in some ways, because that sort of thing could definitely be used against her politically. But she is now galvanized to be one of the faithful. She is absolutely on board with this shit is going down here and we can't allow it to happen. That she wants to ally with the elves and she wants to see this darkness defeated. And so that's very much a faithful stance, which is going to put her directly in opposition with Farazon. So that will play out definitely over multiple seasons. We'll see what happens, and eventually Numenor will fall. Yeah, I picked that out. I did pick out the Adar saying he was going to miss the sun. Yeah, that was the first thing that popped into my brain as soon as it was clear what the sword was. Like, it's a key, and I was like, okay, what does that mean? The moment he put it down and we saw water start to flow, like, it all sort of clicked into place. I didn't see it coming, but when it clicked into place, two things occurred to me. One was that the tunnels were done on purpose for this, but two was that that's what Adar meant when he said he was going to miss the sun, because he had every intention, the plan the whole time was to make Mount Doom erupt and create Mordor. So that made sense, like, instantaneously in my brain. I was like, oh, that's what he meant, because he knew he was going to cause the eruption that would take the sun away. Yeah, Isildur's death to radicalize his sister. Absolutely. Absolutely. Iarion will definitely take that as a thing. But same with Elendil. I think Elendil is definitely shaken by this. Elendil wanted to throttle Galadriel when she showed up, and I don't blame him. But oof. We know Isildur is going to be okay. He has a big role to play, and they aren't going to kill him off yet. That happens canonically later on. There's a lot for Isildur yet to do. And that's what I like about his characters. We're going to see some of the highlights of Isildur's life, rather than just, you know, the one big mistake he makes later on when he falls under the sway of the One Ring. Yeah, I didn't think of that. The parallel of water destroying the Southlands is a prequel of water destroying Numenor. Yeah, that this is sort of in an odd way. Very fortuitous. Yeah, oh, I can't wait for that, Cynthia. I agree. I can't wait for the adorable horse rescuing someone scene. Yeah, like with the descent with Aragorn in the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I'm sure these horses aren't descended from each other. I think that would be a little too, you know, on the nose. But I do love that, even though I'm sure Brego as a name, it was supposed to be based in Old English, which is what Rohan was basically based on. So it has, I believe it means noble or something in Old English. So it does have that meaning, but Brego as being short for something like Bregolas, it shares the same root in Elvish, which is Bereg. Vereg or Berek. And Berek, Bherek, is the common root between Breg, which is then used later on in Sindarin, and Berek in Quenya. So I love that little hint just linguistically that links the two horse names together. And I love there being just, you know, that vibe that there's a connection between horses and their riders. It very much calls up that Rohan vibe, and it also shows a kinship of what we have seen of Aragorn in the Peter Jackson adaptation of Lord of the Rings, and what we are now seeing here. Isildur's plot of more is stronger than Mithril. Yeah, I mean, like, he's got a distinct plot line, so yeah, for sure. He's definitely not just going to be it'll be that you took a tumble there off the cliff. Fake out. It'll be a fake out. He's got a bigger role to play. Meteor Man is Radagast. It could be. Could be. It could be Radagast, it could be Gandalf. I'm okay with it being Gandalf, but I prefer if it's one of the Blue Wizards. Just because we're then not completely walling his character in, if that makes sense. We know so much about Gandalf that I feel like we don't need another character that is canonical there. I don't feel like we need him. Not yet. And I feel like you get a little bit more artistic freedom if it's one of the Blue Wizards. But that's the same way I feel about perhaps the Mystic. The Slim Shady lookalike Mystic could also potentially be one of the Blue Wizards. I think that would be an interesting twist, that she is also one of the Blue Wizards. I'd be cool with that as well. Are we going to get a scene of Isildur pushing through a set of doors like his descendant? That'd be so funny. That'd be so funny. If everyone thought he was dead and he just shows up and just the door thing happens. I wouldn't put it past the creators to do that, just because it's so iconic. It's so iconic from the PJ films. And everyone's pants are just suddenly on the floor. Oh no. Whoops, there goes my pants up over my head. Oh my, oh my. I think it's skirt. I think it's there goes my skirt up over my head. With the tree, you were thinking maybe Radagast too. Because the Blue Wizards came together, right? We don't know for sure. They're named together. And they're just collectively called the Blue Wizards, but there's not very much context given to why. It doesn't say that they came together. It doesn't say that they even worked together, period. It just mentions that they were both in the East. And that's pretty vague. We don't know exactly what that means. But this Meteor Man, I mean, he touched down in the Brownlands, which is still considered East-ish. And if this is, if the mystics are from Rhûn, which is what I think interviews have sort of pointed toward, that would also be East. It's just further east. So they could both be Blue Wizards, or neither of them could be wizards. We just don't know yet. I think it's an interesting conflict if they end up being the two Blue Wizards, because then you end up with this push and pull between the two. And perhaps this very evil-looking character is not unredeemable. Or perhaps we end up with a situation where our nice stranger character gets corrupted for a period of time. There's a lot you could do with them as characters if they are the Blue Wizards rather than him being Gandalf. Because Gandalf never strays. He never strays from his mission. Didn't they say they were in Greenwood? They weren't in Greenwood. They were sending the stranger to Greenwood. They were sending him into the direction of Greenwood, which is basically back the way they came. It's back the way they came, but just a bit more northern of where they started. Because they were pretty close to Greenwood in the Brownlands. It would have just been a little bit north and a tiny, tiny bit west. But yeah, we still don't know exactly what's going to happen there. I mean, at this point, Dol Guldur is not yet a thing in the southern portion of Greenwood. And at this point, Lorinand would be a thing, which is the land that later becomes Lothlorien. But at this point, it's just run by the Sylvan Elves. At this point, I don't believe, because Galadriel's doing her own thing at this point, so even with the condensed timeline, I don't think we have the Noldor influence in Lorinand yet. So that will probably happen later. Then again, maybe that's where Celeborn is. Maybe Celeborn went over the mountains and is basically settled already. If he's already settled in Lorinand, then when Galadriel gets there, that would be kind of cool. she'll just be like, "Holy shit, you're alive," and he'll just be like, "Yeah, I've been living here. This place is cool. Do you want to be here? This could be center of operations for you. This can be your new home." I wouldn't mind that being sort of the origin story of Galadriel staying in Lothlorien. It's much better than the more colonizer mindset of, well, I'm not getting along with any of the rulers in Eriador, and I always wanted a land of my own, so let's head east and just colonize whatever elves we come across, which is very much the vibe that's given in the canon. So I would much prefer it being Celeborn happening to already be there and being like, well, I've made a home here and you're welcome to stay. I think that would be a nicer way of putting it than just a sheer and utter colonization with ill intent, with just the idea of, I want a place to rule. But yeah, that basically covers questions that I'm seeing in chat. So any other questions, or are we gonna draw this to a close now? I feel like we've done a lot this session. Oh, let me bring the music back up. I completely forgot. There we go. There it goes. Okay, I'm like, am I hearing it? Am I not hearing it? Yeah, it's there. Celeborn just building a relaxing home, waiting for his wife to join him. You know, minding his own business. It can be sometimes, especially if he was captured by the enemy and tortured and stuff, like, for a period of time, he may have been traumatized to the point that he's shut down certain parts of his memory, so maybe he is not amnesiac exactly, but just having locked away part of his memory and trying to start over and not think too much about it. But I think word of Galadriel still being alive would definitely reach him, which would be an interesting thing to explore, like, why did he not seek her out immediately? It could be interesting. And again, we do have the opportunity of maybe having Celeborn still imprisoned somewhere. And maybe that's why Adar is in the mix as well, that there will be some sort of prisoner exchange or something happening. Where Celeborn could still be captured somewhere, and maybe he will be released later. We just have to see how they want to incorporate him. If at all. Because like I said, maybe he's just in Lorenand and just gets reunited with Galadriel when she ends up there later on. Do I think Durin Sr. is gonna die in the next episode? I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. Because Durin is definitely going to have to be the one who takes control of the situation. Him and Disa are definitely going to have to take control of the situation, because I don't think Durin Sr. is going to budge on this. And we do know that the elves do get their mithril. So I would not be surprised if he perishes one way or another. I think that there might be anger between him and Durin IV, and then maybe something happens by accident. I could see, you know, everyone was worried that Durin was down in the mine mining mithril when that cave-in happened. I could see something like that happening where the king ends up perishing. I don't think it'll be in that same sort of mining accident, because then I think Durin IV, the one that we're following primarily, I think that he would be like, gosh, my father was right. This is too dangerous. My father was right. I don't think that he's going to die in that fashion. But I also don't think it's in Durin to actually actively assassinate his father. So I don't know. Maybe the whole Balrog thing is there as a device to kill off Durin Sr. I don't know. Maybe we end up with that sort of situation, that the Balrog is going to play a big role in the final, in the finale, and Durin Sr. dies defending his people against the Balrog. Maybe he even takes the Balrog down somehow with him. So they think, oh, well, the threat is gone. The threat is gone, the Mithril is ours, we don't have anything else to fear in the depths. And that would, you know, both get rid of the existing Balrog and also make everyone feel like, well, the conflict is gone. So now we can mine it in peace and there shouldn't be, you know, this is why there were tremors. And we'll be fine from here on out. I feel like that's a good place to leave it for the season finale. With the promise of, okay, and Mithril is gonna happen now. But we also have that little tiny hint of a scene of an explosion happening in Austin Edhiel, so curious what's happening there. Maybe we will get Anatar. I'm convinced they're going to introduce Anatar at the end of season 1. Because that's what I would do. Because that's the biggest drop and the biggest hook that you can leave there to try and get people to come back for season 2. Is the promise that, and there's Sauron. Like, definitively there he is. So, we'll see. We'll see. I think if Halbrand were Sauron, it would still be too early to reveal him as Sauron. And I think that Anatar needs to be present at this point and already working amongst the elves. Oh, let's see. You were glad when they finally acknowledged his existence. Presumably, we'll find him actually still alive at some point. Yeah, with Celeborn, agreed. Gil-galad raising an army against Moria, and just as they start moving, the message reaches the elves that Durin Sr. has died. Yeah, could also see that happening. That the elves are desperate enough for Mithril that they might even march against the dwarves. But word that Durin Sr. has died and that Durin the Fourth is now king of Khazad-dûm. Especially Elrond knowing how Durin feels about the Mithril and wanting to help the elves. That would certainly stay off any battle that they might have prepared to move. So yeah, I think that's reasonable as well, for sure. Why do I think Elrond stopped Durin from telling him his true name? I mean, he said save it for the other side. An other side of what is the question? Because we don't know what happens to dwarves after they die. We don't know. That is something that I think was up to Aule, and not necessarily up to the Lord of Mandos. I think Nalmo would have had some sort of conversation with Aule going, okay, like, I'm the Lord of the Dead and the Lord of Fate, and you just created something that was not part of the original song, so let's have a chat. He would have to figure out what the rules are for the dwarves. It's like, we don't know what happens to mortal men when they die. We know that they go through the halls of Mandos, but then they pass on to some ultimate fate that we don't know about, and even the Valar don't know about. And then elves, their spirits last forever, and their souls are then re-embodied, and they live forever in Valinor. But dwarves, we don't really know. We don't know what happens to them exactly. It's very possible that dwarves have their own bit of afterlife in Mandos halls and then get rebodied much like the elves do, but just through the forges of Aule instead. So, Elrond could have meant the other side, as in, like, save it until after you're dead? But that seems too far-fetched, so I feel like that's a bit final. Yeah, save it for after we've both died and been re-ensouled in Valinor. That seems a little too far away. It might have been save it for the other side as far as when we get on the other side of this conflict, when it is clear that the elves are not going to die and perish. That at the very least, I'm not going to die. Save it for the other side of this trouble, of this task that is ahead of us. And it could have been just very simply, like you're saying, Jackie, it could be very simply just save it until we break through the wall. Save it until we're on the other side of this. Literally this right next to us. That it would be something that is shared in a moment of triumph rather than in a moment of desperation and effort. So yeah, it very well could mean that too. If Elrond learns Durin's real name, or Durin gives Elrond a name in Khuz'dul, I will just, like, I'm already shipping them, okay? Like, the ship is there, and it is sailing strong and proud. But giving him a dwarvish name, or telling Elrond his dwarvish name, is just canonically, that's so significant. And it really does put him on the level of family, of being someone who's always going to be considered part of Durin's life. I mean, it puts him on par with Disa. They might not be in the physical relationship, but that relationship is incredibly important and incredibly strong. And I love it. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I really, really love the three of them. That is my Poly V for life, man. Ship is already in Valinor. I know, like, ship is already sailing. It's already sailing. Sail away, sail away, sail away. Alright, it is coming up on 11 p.m. here. I'm super tired. And I still have, like, bedtime rituals to get through, so I'm gonna call it quits now. I can finally feel my lip again. I can whistle, so I have feeling in my face again. Yay! I'm not numb anymore. That I'm not numb and I feel perfectly fine now is fantastic. Like, I don't even feel the need for ibuprofen. I'll take some anyway, but I don't feel the need for it. So, hell yeah, like, honestly, easiest dental procedure I've ever had. I went through a really nasty double root canal 3 years ago, and I've had fillings that were just horrible. I've had plenty of dental things happen where it's just been nightmarish, and like this was a piece of cake. So happy with how this has turned out. I'll probably be sore for a couple days, but I'm feeling way better than I was expecting to feel. So I'm so glad I'm not in pain. I'm so glad I'm going to be able to sleep soundly. Oh, thank goodness. Thanks, Jackie. And thank you, Dahlia. And yes, I do agree that I'm still on the fence with the mithril thing, so you're not alone there. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. This was a fun episode to get through. I'm glad I wasn't, like, too incredibly crazy with my lower portion being numb. I thought I was going to be out of it today, but I've been perfectly fine. Tired, but fine. Yeah, thanks, guys. I'm already feeling better, so don't worry about that. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, everyone, please, I'm glad you enjoyed the episode. If you are watching this on the rewatch on the Evergreen link, I hope you enjoyed the episode as well. Thank you for sticking around and enjoying some of the debate that happens after every episode. You just got back! I'm just about to call it quits, but let's get I want to hear your thoughts, JK. How are you feeling? You'll have to go back for, like, the last hour and see what we talked about, because there's a lot we covered. But we've got Celeborn. So finally we know that Celeborn has basically just gone missing, and Galadriel thinks that he's dead, but we don't know that for sure. It means he'll probably show up at some point. That's so satisfying. Also, just Elrond, Durin, Disa, always satisfying. The thought that perhaps Durin the Third will die in the season finale, so that Durin the Fourth takes over, and we do get the elves their mithril, blah blah blah. That will likely happen. Yeah, everyone drop a like on the stream before you head out. Thank you so much. Please do. Help with my metrics. I really liked seeing Galadriel have some one-on-one time with Theo, talking about the internal conflict, which again this to me is just foreshadowing that Theo's going to have a really rough road ahead of him and may become one of the Ringwraiths. I could see Theo becoming one of the kings that is then later on corrupted. That he was given these warnings from the get-go, from Arondir, from Galadriel, and then whatever ends up going wrong and getting to him turns him dark, and just there's no looking back from then. So there's a lot of good stuff. Oh, you were at least 15 minutes behind, yeah. Missed a lot of discussion. That's absolutely fine. That's why we do it like this, where it's on a live stream and you can skip around on the Evergreen link when it goes live. So we'll end the stream here, and I think within a half an hour the episode should be up on my YouTube channel permanently. Oh, Gray's here. Gray's here to say goodbye. Are you saying goodbye, Gray? Come here. Are you saying goodbye? You won't see his face, but he's purring. You're a good boy. He has very beautiful green eyes, but he doesn't like to face the camera. So, but everyone, definitely have some fun. You can rewind and watch some of the discussion. You guys brought up some great points, and I'm really, really excited. I'm really excited for the final episode. I'm so excited. It feels like it's gone too fast, man. I know it's only one episode a week, except for the first two happening. I'm curious if the final episode of the season is going to be longer than normal, because I feel like they've got a lot to cover in this last episode to hook us all in for season 2. So maybe it'll be a little bit on the lengthier side. Maybe it'll be like an hour and a half instead. Let's cross our fingers and hope for a nice lengthy episode that we can sink our teeth into, something that will satisfy us until season 2 comes out. We do know they have been very forthcoming in saying that season 2 is starting. I think they started filming either today or they start tomorrow for filming season 2, which is very exciting. Production has begun, and they've been open in interviews about really trying to have as little time as possible between the seasons, but also wanting to keep the quality up. So it's very much a balancing act of trying to churn things out, but not so quickly that the quality will suffer. So we shall see. We shall see what happens, but hopefully now that they have production going, not only in New Zealand, but also in Scotland and the UK, that there will be bits and pieces happening all at once, and they will be able to compile things and move filming along a bit faster. I need Sauron Anatar in the last episode to shill out my Simp for Sauron merch. Absolutely. I mean, that's always been the hope, right? No, I do have a basic Simping for Sauron thing prepped. So, absolutely, if that drops next week, if we have Anatar, then that will definitely be a thing. That will definitely be a thing. And we will certainly have months of various celebrations for the Dark Forces. We'll do, you know, Dark Force December. We'll do we'll do a Simping for Sauron. We'll do Anatar April. Do something in March for, you know, Mordor March or something. The Mordor and Mystics in March or something like that. We'll have fun with it. I'm gonna have so much fun. I need more information about the Mystics though. I'm hoping that we see more of them, get a firmer idea of them, maybe get a character name dropped, because damn girl. Breedy Sisson. Oh my lord. Like, mighty fine. Mighty, mighty fine. I have a mighty need, and I really want to make some simping for Slim Shady kind of merch. It's a vibe. So yeah, I'll try and have some basic things prepped for next week. I will at the very least have a simping for Sauron thing happening. I do need to poke Don Marshall about that, because he also wanted to do something simping for Sauron, so we might collab on it. We might collab on it and just do a 50-50 split. He's the one with the larger following, and I accept this. I accept that he has the larger following. And he's the one with all of the industry connections that I just don't have. I'm not big enough yet for that. We're getting there. We're over 60k now. Yay! I do need to schedule getting my my tattoo on that note, and that's where I'll leave it. But yes, there already is Sauron merch. It's already up in my store. If you go to elfboy.com here, and you go to the geeky merch, anything that takes you to my Teespring store, my spring store. So any of the t-shirts or mugs or anything, if you click onto there, it should take you to my spring store, and you can just click the little rainbow flames icon, and that'll take you to the main page of the store. But all of the new Sauron stuff should be featured on the front page. There's some fun stuff there. I hope you guys like it. All of my Eye of Sauron stuff. But I'll have a Simping for Sauron merch ready to go next week. I'll poke Dawn about it. So if it's not on my store, it'll be on his store. One way or the other, you guys will have access to Simping for Sauron merch. And we'll just hope that Anatar shows up. But everyone, please take care. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for so long. And just also for being present while I recover from this thing. Because I'm so glad I didn't have to just call it quits tonight. I'm really, really happy I still got to watch the episode with you all. So everyone, please take care. I will be updating my Twitter thread to have episode 6 details, because I do have all the information, I just haven't taken the time to do all the screenshots and then put them up on the Twitter thread. That will happen tomorrow. That's the goal for tomorrow. And then I'll also get my group of elvish loving friends to start on some of the Quenya that we heard in this episode too. So everyone, please take care. Keep up with my stuff over on Twitter. My pinned thread over there is always there if you like looking at the details for the show. And otherwise, I will see you guys over on TikTok. I will be doing another calligraphy live stream probably in the next couple days. So everyone, please take care. I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.